Orlando Pirates played 2 games in a space of 24 hours. And the first one was a loss against Al-Ittihad from Saudi Arabia, which was a 3-2. And then the second one was against Las Palmas, which is from Spain. And they're playing in the second division, which is La Liga 2. And we won that game 1-0. But what we actually learned from these 2 games that we played back-to-back in the space of 24 hours, I think the first thing that you're going to look at is in terms of Pirates fans' perspective is going to be one of those things where you look in terms of the squad depth. I think the squad depth has been actually being played in front of us here in this preseason tour. But there is a biggest question that we're going to ask ourselves as the season progresses. Is this squad depth a real thing that we can actually use when games become tougher? Because think about it, Orlando Pirates will be competing in actually 5 trophies this season. And I think when you look at those 5 trophies that they'll be competing in, those are lots of games. There's 30 games for the league. There's another 4 games if you go into the final for the MTN 8. There's another 4 to 5 games as well for calling knockouts. There's another lot of games, which is like probably 7 games if you're going to the final of the Nedbank Cup. And then there are a lot of games that you're going to play in the Champions League because there's a first and a second leg. So it's a lot of games. But now, when we are looking at the squad depth in terms of this preseason tour, we can say Orlando Pirates have that. Lots of players that they can use. The squad depth is actually enough. And I think then sometimes you go into position by position, then you will realize that sometimes those squad depth, they are actually good on paper and they're not really good to win matches. I can tell you this, lots of players that are in this preseason tour with Orlando Pirates, most of them are really, really good and they deserve to start for Orlando Pirates and they deserve to play. Even if they don't deserve to start, but they deserve to play. But all I can tell you, when games get tougher, those are the guys that sometimes we're not going to be able to trust because of the performance they will put when the games are actually relaxed, when they get the chances. And I think those guys need to actually go out there and grab every chance they get with both hands. I can just say, big shout out to Lunga for playing the fullback in the yesterday games. I think that was amazing. But we're going to go back and look at the first game, Al-Ittihad. We lost the game 3-2. But when you look at actually the score and the performance of the game, these two doesn't actually relate because Orlando Pirates was dominating most of the game, but they didn't actually convert the dominance into goals. But I can tell you something, Orlando Pirates in the PSL, they always gonna give teams a chance to actually attack them. If you are playing against Orlando Pirates, you are guaranteed 2 to 3 chances that you're going to get. But in PSL, teams don't punish Orlando Pirates when they get those chances. But Al-Ittihad was the team that actually showed teams. If teams were watching this game in South Africa, they actually so that if you are playing against Orlando Pirates and you get chances, capitalize on those because it's not going to be many of them, but the one that you're going to get, capitalize on them because now they will have a pressure to go on the other side and actually score those many goals that they will need to win the match. But now, if you look, only yesterday games that we actually didn't concede and we actually didn't come from behind to actually cover or win the game. But if you look at other games, we actually came from behind because we've been getting the behind early in the matches. And then I think it's been one of the things that our defense needs to work on. I'm not saying we have a bad defense. We actually have a good defense compared to if you're looking at last season in terms of the goals that we conceded and the way that they were playing. And some of the players are like cheat code, like CM. He's just different. He's just good enough to actually do everything in that defense. And there was a game where he actually played as a fullback as well. He showed us, if you're a fullback, what you actually do and how to pass for people that are making the runs. And I think when you're doing those type of things, we actually realize that we are going to have a good season this season. But the other thing that we also learned, we learned that if you put the ball into the striker, strikers will always look to score or they will score. I think if you look at yesterday game's rap, the way he was playing, trying to put the ball in the box, I think Mbatha and any other striker that will start will actually love that because I think that's what has been lacking at Orlando Pirates. Someone that will actually put those ball into the box and for strikers to challenge and try to score. And I think other person that is also not having the final touch that is really, really good will be Msendami. But in terms of the other things, in terms of just going fast and getting those ball into the pylon, he's one of those guys that can able to do that. But I think what he needs to work on, he needs to work on his final product. So if he can work on the final product, we're going to have another player that we really, really need because we really need someone to play on that right wing. But I can just say credit and the praise to go to Moremi. This guy has been playing like he never went to the World Cup. Like the energy that he's been showing in this preseason tournament, it's playing like he never went to the World Cup. I saw Appollis when we were playing against Al-Ittihad. He was showing some rustiness, some tiredness there. I didn't see the Appollis that I know in that game, and some of the chances that he missed on that game. I was like, I know you do miss some important chances, and you did miss most of them in last season, and you score lots of those. But what he was doing in that game, I didn't even like it. I didn't even see that as Appollis. I was like, who's this guy? And camera comes close. I'm like, it's Appollis. And then on that game as well, Mahopa wasn't really in the game. Didn't want to play. I think maybe he was too tired or it was too hot. But I think the guy that need people who needs to pass to him, it's Radiopane, and I like what he did in yesterday's games. Just first touch, know what you want to do as a striker, know where the poles are. Just a simple thing, the simple basic thing as a striker. And I think maybe in terms of runs that he's been doing, I think it's one of the guys that will deserve a chance in the next season. But what we learn as Orlando Pirates is we have depth for days. I was looking in the middle because when you come to the midfield, I was looking at our captain in the game against Las Palmas was Dansin. And you look at Dansin playing that role, commanding everything, but you realize as well that you still have Mtiane that replaced Nduli. And Nduli also have Makaula on the same position. I'm like, that position is locked in. Nothing you can do. And I like what Mbatha did on that game when he was actually doing something that I'm always complaining about, that Mbatha doesn't really come back and collect the ball and take the pass. Even though I believe he still need to work and actually in his long passes, because I really think he loves that in terms of just moving the ball across the wingers, in terms of the wingers that hugs the line. But now my thing is he hasn't actually perfected that pass. It's either it's going to go all the way out of the pitch or it's going to be intercepted before it's reached the target. So I think it's one of those things that he needs to work on. I saw Nduli. Nduli was really looking rusty on that game. I think Mtiane is looking good. But they are actually players that impress me the most, especially the youngsters. And for me, I really like Masilela. I like Lada, the goalkeeper, as well. I think Mpopadima, Slow Poison, is really out there doing his thing. And I think what I like about him the most was the fact that he's willing to put the ball in the box as well. Like, I think last season, if you've been watching my channel, you know how I've been stressing about the fact that we don't put enough balls in the box for strikers to actually chase and try to fight for those balls. So I think I saw what he did there in that preseason game. I think now we are left with one preseason game that we are going to play against the Saudi Pro League side, which is Neon. They are new into the Saudi Pro League. They've been gaining their back-to-back promotion in the Saudi Pyramid, but now they are playing with the big boys next season, and I think it's going to be good for everyone involved. But I think since they will be playing with the big boys, they probably going to bring their big guns on the game as well. So I think Orlando Pirates will be the last one. A lot of people. And I think we're going to see lots of guys that look like a starting 11 that will start against Milford playing the game against Neon. And I think if that game is going to give us something that we saw in the game of Al-Ittihad, I think it will be good enough. That game, we saw Pirate that was able to move the ball from behind, able to escape the presses, able to move, even though Al-Ittihad wasn't really pressing that much. But for them to actually control the game and able to move the ball all the way to the front and then able to create a lot of chances, I think Moremi was just having the game of his life with that preseason, because he was just everywhere. The energy he's having, that boy, is really amazing, and I really like him. And I know he needs to work on a few things in terms of like final decision making. Do you need to shoot or do you need to pass? Do you need to move the ball into the box? Do you need to bring across? But there are only few things that he needs to work on. I really like him because he can play in both sides, left and right, like he was doing on that game against Al-Ittihad. He was all over the pitch, left, right. So whoever was marking him was actually having a lot of trouble, because he was actually giving himself a better position all the time he has the ball, moving also in different direction. And think about the fact that the goal is scored as well. He's that guy that is going to come on the left-hand side and is able to shoot. And I think because he really likes to shoot a lot, he's going to have more goals as well this season, because when he gets into those chances, he knows exactly what to do with the ball and he likes to shoot a lot. But so far, I think the preseason has been really good. And looking at the first draw, the win, the lose, the win. So out of 4 games, we won 2, draw 1 and lost 1. And then we're going to finish everything with Neon, and then we come back in South Africa to prepare for our first game of the season with Milford. But so far, I think the tour has been successful. The way we've been playing all the tiki-taka, moving the ball from the back, trying to create spaces. If there's a high press, we're able to move. And I think I like to send another shout out to also Mtiane. Mtiane has been playing very well yesterday. He knows exactly. He's cool in the ball. He really knows how to move the ball from the back, and is not afraid to receive facing the goalkeeper, so he can send and pass the ball sideways or up front. And he also tried to play one of those balls that's bypassing the defense and then giving to the guys like Msendami, who likes to run a lot. So I think, yeah, in terms of what we learn a lot in this preseason tournament. And I think the coach actually showed us that he really trusts all the players and everyone will get a fair chance. And I think all the boys that went with the coach to Spain, they got the chance. And I really happy, because I think now coming back, it's all on them fighting for the chase, making sure that when they get a chance to start a match, they are holding that chance with both hands, and then helping the team also win and defend the triple and winning the other 2 trophies, so that we can just complete everything for the season. So if you've been watching this video up until this far, make sure that you go down to the comment below and tell me, what do you think is going on? What do you think Pirates will actually benefit from this preseason tournament? Do you think we've learned enough from the things that we need to prepare for this season, or do you think we need to come back and actually face the real music and see if we are actually good enough to start and defend our triple? So make sure that you go down to the comment below, and you can state whatever you want to state right now. The comment is open, and the conversation, we can keep on going with the conversation and making sure that the Bucks news are up here. If you are an Orlando Pirates fan, just make sure that you watch the channel. Thank you so much if you've been watching and subscribing into the channel, and I will see you on the next time. Once, always, up the Bucks.